In this episode of The Smoke Trail, I interview Robert Vera, who's the founding director of the Canyon Ventures Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Grand Canyon University. He works alongside students and community founders to help turn their visions into successful businesses. And under Robert's leadership, the center has accelerated and the growth of over 40 startups and exited 7 companies into the Phoenix, Arizona market, collectively valued at over $200 million. After spending the day there with Robert and some of the students, entrepreneurs, I came away just completely enthusiastic and excited about A, this generation, B, what the future holds, and all the abundance that can be created around entrepreneurship, and with a faith-based alignment, which is what Grand Canyon University has. So I hope you enjoy this series of interviews. I talked to Robert and then 3 of the student entrepreneurs and profiled their businesses. So pick and choose, jump around, but it's great conversations, and I hope they inspire you as much as they inspired me. It's a really cool thing. Thank you. Robert, welcome to Smoke Trail.
It's great to be here, Smoke, so thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Thanks for hosting. It's what an amazing place. I have to say, having now met some of the entrepreneurs and students and spent time here walking around, and it's my second time here. It's such a powerful energy field you have built, and it's so positive and conducive to creativity and supporting each other. I mean, it's really awesome.
Thank you. I think that when you said that, the energy, when you walk in, you feel there's something different. You're not quite sure what it is, and we're agnostic, right? We have a lot of different companies here. Oftentimes when people come in, there's a company that does sewing or seaming there, and they're like, I know they want to ask me, is this a sweatshop? I mean, what do you guys do here? But the energy is really, when you walk in, you know there's something different going on here. You know there's something unique here. And there's just this amalgamation of companies and founders and businesses that just make it such an interesting sort of visual experience when you come in. Then when you start to talk to people, you start to feel, wow, this is really an incredible place to come and create something really unique.
Yeah, well, hats off to you and these efforts. And you told me a little background, but I'd love to just, for the audience so they understand, like, when you came here, I think 2019, they gave you basically a big open room and a whole pile of money and resources?
No, the deal was like, hey, we'd love for you to be our founding director of Canyon Ventures. Here's the deal, you got, there's nothing here, you got no money and no staff. And I was like, you drive a hard bargain. Where do I sign? And so there was just, but I really love that blank slate to be able to create something totally unique. We had this structure that we thought we wanted to build on, and that was, okay, we want to create an ecosystem there where our students can get professional experience and build a professional network prior to graduation and get paid while they're doing it. We thought we wanted to bring in not just entrepreneurs from the university, but from our community. And we wanted to use this as a showcase to recruit those like-minded students that wanted to come here and build something and have that, not just the ecosystem, but have a community around them that wanted to do that. So that was in 2019. Right after that, COVID happened. But I thought, I'd been through the 2008, Great Recession, and I thought that COVID was really no big deal. Like, hey, that's okay, we're going to get through this. And, part of the fabric of entrepreneurs is that we're good in crisis. So I thought, this is just another great opportunity to prove the value of this place by driving through and creating it. And in the end, testament to Grand Canyon University's vision to be able to do this, but to create something where we've now launched 7 companies out of here, 2 Shark Tank winners to be here, and employ hundreds and hundreds of students that are getting professional experience and building a professional network. What I love about that student experience is different from universities, is that I like this idea of, I don't like fighting fair. Why would you, like, 50-50 doesn't seem like, like, why would you do that? So how can we create an unfair advantage for students to come to Grand Canyon University? How can we give them a network, professional experience, real currency in their education to go out to really be useful to the world, right?
It's funny, I often, make introductions and, try to help, up and coming people and try to connect with people. And sometimes I get this resistance, like, I want to do it on my own. I'm like, no one ever did anything on their own. And everyone who was very successful, they networked, they built a network of relationships and people. And it's part of the key of unlocking how do you get things done is how do you work with other people and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great point. Like, Dan Sullivan is a coach, and he has this great mantra that it's not how, it's who. Mm-hmm. And I say here, you're one person away from the solution to your problem.
Yeah.
Like, one person can print.
But you have to ask for help.
You have to ask for help. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right?
And that includes the higher power.
Yes, of course.
Number one, ask for help.
Yeah. It's, what's awesome about this place is that, entrepreneurs are the most faith-filled people on the planet. Like, there's nothing here. Like, we're going to create something.
Totally.
Like that's God giving us
the world doesn't believe you. They don't see your vision. You see it clearly, and you're like, and I just have to do these things to get there, and whatever those things are might change, but I'm going to get there.
And that, I think, comes from this higher power, this like, we're all created with this, and that vision comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it's refined through this process. But those epiphanies, you wake up at night and you write things down, like, all that comes from this higher power, this vibration that you get that, like I have to do this.
If we're receptive enough to receive it.
Yeah.
It's like we have to suspend judgment. We have to be the witness and be open to, what is possible, right? And if we're in that like non-judging stance, things come to us.
Yeah, it's lonely, isn't it? Right, to be there alone and not have like the support system that you need. Here, I think we're all a bunch of misfits. We're all sort of trying to figure this thing out. We're all delusional, trying to figure these things out. I'd rather be here with all these people than anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the back. We're at Grand Canyon University at 27th Avenue in Camelback, and probably like one of the more challenging places, in Arizona. And still, we have people that come here and want to be part of this place. And, I just love being with a bunch of people here who believe in themselves. Like, I tell, look, we're just going to bet it all on black, and we're going to be on the black, and we're going to make this thing happen, right?
But is your belief in them, in these kids and these young entrepreneurs, that helps them in those moments when they dip? We all have self-doubt.
Yeah, of course.
And we were talking about that, but like, you've got this kind of like, hey, figure it out. There's ways to do it. Ask for help. Like let's all bear down on your problem.
I think that's this unbelievable community. Look, you learn, like, as an entrepreneur, like, hey, you know what? Like, you're like, I got to do this thing.
Yeah.
Like, no one's coming, and I'm gonna need some help. Mm-hmm. And when you're surrounded by people that all are in that same situation, that it's a very egalitarian network. We're all pulling for each other. Mm-hmm. We're all trying to figure it out, and we don't have to. Like, I know when someone's having a bad day. And for me, my role here now is like, hey, sometimes it's usually daily. I got to pick people up, I got to dust them off, and I got to put them right back in the fight with new perspective. And that has been, like, for me, a real privilege to be able to do this and to see the success that we've had out of this, just from really having the courage to do something different that the world says you can't do. And then really going through that process of proving everyone wrong, or at least maybe proving yourself right. Mm-hmm. And then along the way, there's more beautiful failures along the way than there are successes.
Yeah.
And I love those failures. I just love that opportunity to say, okay, that was a great lesson.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot from that. I'll tell you what, though, one of the things I love about this place is that we've learned how to win.
Yeah.
And people say, well, you learned a lot from losing. not so much. Like I've learned more from winning, and the things I've learned is like how much effort it takes to win.
Yeah.
Right. Just like.
But also, I think one of the things I heard loud and clear is, if you're gonna fail, fail fast.
Yeah, we
and
do
so,
all the time.
Like, figure out. I love what you were talking about. Maybe you can elaborate on that. But the whole customer to conversion rate, because you have a pretty good indicator of what is going to work and not work quickly, right?
Yeah. So you can't go past product market fit. We got to know if there's product market fit. So how do you know, right?
Yeah.
And you could literally still have $1 million in revenue and not have product market fit. So we know if your lifetime value of customer, meaning if your customer gives you, I don't know, $100, right? If your lifetime value is 3 to 1 of your customer acquisition cost, we know there's something going on.
Yeah, do more of one and you get 3s.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now we can just crank up this and we get that. The struggle to get to that 3 to 1 is that beautiful failures, right? And to refine it and to tune it. And you're constantly just trying to get there. And it's a 3-year battle to product market fit. Here's another formula. Now, by the way, like these are hard fought formulas. Like we came up with this through failure, not through like success, the first time. This was like, okay, I think we need to do this, we need to tweak that. We need to have both product market fit and product message fit. The other thing we've learned is that there's platforms you can sell on. TikTok is one, Instagram is another. We know what sells on TikTok Live. If it's one size fits all, if it's everyday use, and if it's in the health, beauty, or vanity category, man, it really does sell. You can sell on TikTok, and you can literally drive revenues there like almost nowhere else. So we found these little formulas, right? So we know, okay, here's where to go with that. Here's what to do. You can spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. We've mapped that for our entrepreneurs here, and that's why you'll see like Lucas, who literally, this is the most amazing thing. We've taken an idea from the classroom, literally started in a classroom, to like, $160,000 in 90 days, and he'll be $1 million company in like 1 year.
Yeah, and you know what he said when we talked?
What did he say?
That he wants to be you.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So like the whole culture of giving back of, obviously success breeds success. And you've got this culture of, hey, let's win. But it's not win at all costs. It's win and how do I get back? How do I help the next guy?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, you think about all the people that like leaned into me as I was screwing up on my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those people, like I can never repay them, ever.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do for them is to be who they were for me.
Yeah,
at
totally.
that time.
Made me like tear up.
You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can do. I got nothing else, right? But
Yeah.
to be that person for them.
Well, what's cool about what you have here and what the university has is, you've got this kind of faith-based base.
Yeah.
And you're doing entrepreneurship. And what I love is, bringing together. That's what the Smoke Trail is all about.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's, bringing leadership, spiritual journey, and how do we have these conversations together. And, it took me a while, but when you are out for self, right, that's a path. And that's a path that, we've seen society in different, it's a path that leads to, maybe short-term wins, but long-term losses. When you're out for the all, it doesn't mean you're not out for yourself. It doesn't mean you're not out to be successful, to have your success, financially, abundance, your family, your community. But it's the all. You're looking at all things. So we're not going to do something that is going to harm others. We're doing something to lift things up. And that's the message I got from everybody I talked to so far has been like, like I'm laser focused on my thing, but I want to help others.
Yeah, like if we can, that's like the idea. If we can use entrepreneurship and what we're doing here to transform the world. I know that sounds altruistic and do that.
Listen, that's the basis of this show. So
that's what we're doing.
So
right?
I'm with you.
I'm all in.
You have me at a low.
I literally, that's what we're doing. And I'll give you good examples. We have a company, electric e-bikes, started out here. They're now number one seller of electric e-bikes. But one of the things he said, in his launch of his new XP4 bike is that, he said, what I'm so proud of is that we've been able to send 30 foster kids to GCU, full scholarship.
Yeah.
That was for me, that was the greatest thing I could have ever heard there, because now I can just imagine the story coming at this kid, was in foster care, came to GCU, set up a company, drove it to $1 billion and gave back. I don't need one of those, right? We don't need one of those. And that for me is like, that's my why. If we could use this place to transform the world, right?
Yeah.
That's way, I get it. We need profits and all those other things. I get that, right? But what you do with those profits really means something to me, and I want it to be impactful, right?
Yeah, no, look, we at the end of the day, we only have we only have control over ourselves. Like, there's nothing else we control other than how we show up. But if we show up in the right way, at the highest vibration capable of doing, that affects everyone around us. And so what I see here is this energy field you've created, which is magical, and everyone is adding to it, right? Yeah. It starts with like someone with a vision and someone who leads it, which is you. But it works because you're inspiring others and they're inspiring others, and these like out circles of vibration are like, it's endless. Like, you'll never know how many people you affected by starting this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I lose sight of that a lot, Smoke. I do. And one of the things, like, I've written down, like, I want to create this. I think hope is the abundance of options, right? And I think hopelessness is the lack of options.
Yeah.
And I think that, when we hear about all these epidemics that happen, whether it's, we have epidemics in various populations of suicide and the like. And I decided, like, for me in this place and what I want to do with my life, I just want us to be, if epidemics can go in one direction, they can go in another direction.
Yeah.
I just want us to be this epidemic of hope.
Yeah.
To really just like give options, give opportunity, to really empower people in a way that is, for them, like, they feel like inspired, they feel comfortable, confident to be able to do this stuff. And I want this place and what we bring to the world as this massive epidemic of hope that gets passed on to people, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And look, there's no lack of problems, but in the world, but the problems are opportunities, and they are opportunities for people to create solutions, to work through them, to learn. Every problem is a learning opportunity, whatever it is. I had childhood trauma, I overcame that, dealt with it. We all have our issues. When you can be an example, and we were talking about it earlier. One of the guys was talking about his faith and, walking in the shoes of Christ, or, talking about that. I'm like, talking about it is good, but being it is next level. And so when you help inspire people and they're inspiring others and they are becoming, they are enacting. They're not just talking about, it's all well and good to go to church on Sunday. I'm a big believer that it's how you behave, not on Sunday. It's how you behave when you're walking down the street, when you see a homeless person, whatever you're doing in life, it's how you treat each other. And if we all elevate our own game, which is the only thing we control, nothing else, then we're elevating everyone. Yeah. And so it's an abundant mindset, which I feel totally like coming across, like,
Yeah, if we can do that. Look, a lot of people don't want us to do that. A lot of people but I think we persist, and we're going to persist to do that and create something. We were already changed our community. We've already changed people. And I just think if we can continue to do that work, and not like, for us, it's just important to show up and do the work every day, and to be that epidemic of hope, and to show people, hey, we got this. We're going to work through this. And I think that, like, entrepreneurs are different. Like, we have this vision that doesn't exist, and we want to create something that's not there. Yeah. We're delusional enough to think that we can do it. Yeah. And when you put that energy out there, when you put that, the world sort of coalesces towards those things, and people show up. And
look, our perception is our reality. And if you come to the world with love, with abundance, with, I see divinity in everyone I meet, and I'm like, okay, they just don't see it in themselves, it's just hidden, right?
Yeah.
And so when we show up that way, it's infectious. It spreads. And you think about, you look around the world and you see, these impoverished countries, and you see governments that are, have the thumb on the back of the people, and you see even in our country, you see, groups who are all about like dividing up the spoils. It's that mentality does nothing positive. It is not the way forward. The way forward is create abundance.
Yeah.
Share it
freely.
The more you give, the more you get.
Yeah, no, it's true here. Like literally, we literally like give so much away, and we have so much in return.
Yeah.
Like we almost can't handle the return that we get. It's just like when we started here, literally, Smoke, there was nothing here.
Yeah.
I mean, not like there was like we didn't even have furniture.
Yeah.
And so I just would like call up some people and be like, hey, would you be willing to donate some furniture? I mean, nothing matches here, like, you know what I mean? But we didn't need it to match. And we had so much furniture. I'm like, no, we don't need any more furniture. Whenever we asked, we just got more.
Yeah.
And then whenever I ask, hey, do you think you do this? Like, literally, so many people show up to do that. It's just been, I think that you're right. When we can actually not have any attachment, we don't give to get, right?
Yeah.
Not have any attachment, we just give. It comes back tenfold.
And that's how life works. I mean, you're embodying it here in the center, but it's how life unfolds. And some of us, takes us till, we get a little older to realize it. Some, these young, bright lights get it already.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
What's awesome is like, I was like, they're 21, 22. Like I was never that evolved at 21 or 22.
Listen, I was running from my problems, but I had an entrepreneurial streak. So like, I was like running from darkness, and I was chasing dreams at the same time. And that chasing dream part kept me away above the darkness. But I wasn't like, these guys are like, they're very conscious.
And that, like, I hear a lot of people, and it like, they'll say, oh, this generation, I can give you chapter and verse of students in this generation that they're here with me at 5 in the morning and at 8 at night. They're driving, like, and they leave here on the weekends. Will Post goes and serves our country in the National Guard along with Andrew Busman. And this generation, like, I'm really proud of them. They come across, at least the kids I
think
know.
that's so underrepresented in modern media and what we see. But when I see it, I see firsthand. You see it here in the center. I have 4 grown kids who are all good humans. They're not kids anymore. They have families and they're off doing their thing. And I'm like, I know their friend groups. They're great. These are like, like everyone has their challenges, but like they have great friend groups. They're all working hard. They're conscientious. They care. They care about their community. They care what's going on. They care about their life. They care about, I see the world very differently than what is depicted out there. And I think that's a really important message that we can share here is that, it's not a bad generation. We've got a media apparatus that is driven by the negative. And a lot of the talking heads and a lot of the stuff we see is in that realm. And yet, in real life, I talk to real people, all over the place. And it's like, I'm inspired.
Me too.
It's good. It's a positive
There's
thing.
no entitlement here. I mean, it's eat what you kill. We got to get after it.
Well, listen, you gotta, I have no tolerance for people that aren't willing to roll up their sleeves and work. And so, well, I say I have no tolerance. I appreciate that some people are in a negative state and they don't see that yet. But I love when I see, like, hey, let's go do this. Let's make it happen. And, whatever happens gets in the way, we're going to figure out a way through it.
So that's this generation, at least the kids I know from this generation, they're not entitled. They do get after it. I mean, you've met them now.
Yeah.
And I see them, actually doing the work to make themselves successful and to be epidemics of hope in their friends group. Whenever they are leading the way. And for folks that say this generation's entitled, this and that, look, that's just not my experience. Or at least not wholly my experience.
Yeah.
Certainly there were some, but I'll tell you, there were people in my generation that were entitled.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of that throughout society and always has been. But I think, look, consciousness is rising in the world.
I agree.
We're in a better place now than ever before. And people will say, well, how could you say that? There's war, there's this, that. Well, you know what happens when you want to raise your vibration, you want to get more conscious? All the things in the way come up.
Yeah.
So in my journey of trying to find peace and love and realize that, it was all the things that were in my subconscious, all the trauma in my past that came up, and I had to face it. Now, nothing can withstand conscious awareness. And so when I see the things that are happening around the world, and I see a lot of like turmoil and lots of, there's plenty of things you could get anxious about, that's these things surfacing that need to be surfaced, that need to be put conscious on so that we can move beyond it. And so actually it's a positive sign that we see the lack of integrity in politicians and government and different things, and we see it plain and simple. COVID helped.
Yeah,
COVID was, it was tragic for a lot of people, but it was really positive because we saw through the veil of, falsehood. And I think a lot of people have woken up as a result of that.
I agree.
In a good way, the good kind of woke.
I totally agree. I think that now, people now know. We know what we don't know, and we know now there's something different. Right?
And the more I learn, the more I think I know, the less I know.
Yeah,
As I raise my vibration, I realize that there's much higher above me, right? So as we raise our consciousness, you can see everything below at the lower levels, but you become more aware that there's so much more. So for me, it's just reinforced faith, it's reinforced understanding of a higher power. And when you're tapping into that in an abundant mindset with a let's give, it's not about what you get back. Things just flow, and that's what's happening here.
Yeah, I think that it takes a lot not to major in the minor.
Yeah.
But if you can do that and you can just stay above it and just say, hey, it's only a movie, like everything's going to work out. You know what I mean?
Well, there's polarities in everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's recognizing that you can transcend the polarities if you see the context of it all, right? And the context is divinity.
Yes.
And if you have that context, you're like, oh, okay, that person they have things they have to work through. They just don't understand. They don't see. And so how do you help them? Well, you be the best person you can be, and that vibration will help them more than anything. It's like once you understand this is something that like maybe it took me longer than a lot of people, but like once I realized that you can be very empathetic, but if you're matching the vibration of someone who's, say, depressed or in a really distraught state, you're not doing them any good. You think you're being sympathetic, but actually you're just bringing your vibration down. If you stay in your vibration and you stay up, and you can still listen and have empathy, or you can have compassion is a better word for that person's situation, the odds of them getting out of it are much higher if you keep your vibration up. Right? It really works that way.
You're the vibrationally example for them.
Yeah, because we're always we're matching or repelling vibrations. The cool thing is the higher vibrations it's a logarithmic scale in power. So the power of love and unconditional love is magnitudes greater than all these lower ones.
Yeah, and you can't fake that.
No, you can't fake it. But just one person who's calibrating at unconditional love makes up for like 100 million people who are below in negativity.
That's the epidemic of hope. One, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
the
this
one,
is
right.
a shining example. So,
well, I appreciate that.
I'm not saying it because I'm here and this is a cool place and I like you, which I do. It's because I see it. It's real. So what's the future like? How do you just continue doing what you're doing?
Yeah,
can other people replicate this in other communities?
We've tried. We give people ask, how do we do this? We give them the blueprint. It's like a 2-page blueprint. And they'll call me up like, okay, but how do we do this?
Yeah.
I just gave you the answer. But the future is like one of the things we really want to do is that we've not been able to directly invest in these companies.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, we've created this structure where we created this Faith Innovation Fund.
Okay.
So literally, we'll be able to attract companies in and then make strategic equity investments into these companies who meet our thesis and our philosophy, right? So that to me is so exciting because up until now, which it's just been no cost real estate, no cost rent, all those things, and it's been an accelerator to help you grow. Yet they've always had to go out, our companies have always had to go out and look for capital.
Find their own fund, yeah.
And we would guide them along the way, and I would network and get them access to capital, and we help them raise money. Yet we've never had the opportunity to directly invest in these companies for benefit of, recycling that money back into the organization to have this self-funding organization. For the first time ever, this morning at a conversation, we'll be able to it'll be through a donor advised fund. So you want to make a donation? Great, here it is. And then we're going to reinvest that in here. That structure to me, it keeps me up at night to be able to actually, because here, for me, I think the Christian entrepreneur, the person who thinks about the world like we do, in a lot of ways, I feel like they're the greatest underserved missionaries on the planet. Right. And so I know that sounds like contradictory, but they are. So how do we invest in those people how do we give resources to those people to invest in them so they can actually just repeat and be an example for that? So for me, that's sort of the next evolution of this. I don't think we would have gotten the trust of donors and or a donor advised group to be able to do it unless we did this work, unless we were able to prove, unless we started with nothing, unless we did all this stuff, unless we had success. So we couldn't have started with
now
that.
You have graduates and people who are making success who are willing to be part of that, right? Or reinvest, come back and say, hey, I've made it, now I'm going to send 30 kids or 40 kids to your program, and and also invest in the fund and that kind of thing.
We had to do it this way. We couldn't start. We had to start with nothing and grow into something before we could gain the trust of people that we were fully committed, that this is what we wanted to do. And now I think we have this opportunity to actually attract great companies, attract great founders, house them here and invest with them, and then send them out into the world to actually transform the world, to give people the opportunity to live a life that they never believed possible.
I believe, well, first of all, the individuals raising their own vibration, doing the work, are the way we transform the world. I also believe, and this is kind of the premise of this, this whole whatever it is I'm doing, have stumbled into, is that entrepreneurs, business leaders who are conscious can impact the world many times over. Because look, if I've got 100 employees or 1,000 employees or whatever, I've got influence. Now, can I make those people wake up and be conscious? Not necessarily, but by my being that way, by my holding space for people and basically calling it out and encouraging it, I'm improving the lives of all these people. And think about how much impact that is. And I think about my YPO group, and there's now 35,000 members around the world. And when I joined 23 years ago, whatever, there was 5,000, right? So there's 35,000 CEOs that qualify for YPO around the world. That group has, I think I saw some stats, it's 6th or 7th largest economy in the world if you add up all the GDP of the companies and millions of employees. How much of that group waking up, being conscious, being aware of this situation and leaning back in moves the needle on society in general? And so I love what you guys are doing on a microcosm. It's not small, it's huge. But I see it like other leaders seeing this and going, hey, I could do this in my community. I bet we could get other people to say, it's obviously hard to do. You have to be you have to have a certain level of I'm going to make this happen. But there are others out there that are like-minded who would invest in this, who would want to try to replicate it in their community, wherever it is, and support this kind of ecosystem. I think it's a beautiful example.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you coming here and shining a light on this, because it does help, and it exposes Grand Canyon University, exposes entrepreneurs, it exposes what we're doing here, in the hopes that others will say, yeah, let's do it. Let's do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. The fact is, we started with, the Grand Canyon University was very gracious in giving us a space. And, hiring me, right? But they were like, you're an entrepreneur, figure it out. And I just love that. So it doesn't require money. It just requires this commitment to saying we're going to change the world.
Well, the resources that we need for anything in the world will show up if you're doing the right thing and you have the right intentions and you do the work. So, yeah, I mean, money will appear as needed. Like this fun thing, that's just going to keep growing, and it's going to, But I also like the scrappy nature of like, well, we don't have unlimited resources. We have to figure out things. There is some good discipline there.
And I like that too. Like I like not having to have like. I think a lot of times having money is a problem.
Yeah, no.
And rather
look, I've had startups where I was very successful at raising capital, and we had almost an abundance of riches. This was .com one. I raised $60 million on my idea that I wrote on a napkin. But and there's different problems that show up with that.
Yes.
But also businesses need resources. So, but I think if you're in the flow, you're giving back, you're in gratitude at all times, the resources will flow.
Yeah.
And they do flow.
Yeah.
So what is there what's your biggest hurdle? Is there one? I mean, whatever it is, you're going to overcome it. But like, is there a challenge right now that you guys are facing?
I think the bigger challenge is to really attract the right companies and to get them to a place where they can spawn out of here with the right resources, the right capital to actually grow our economy as well. So I think that's what our challenge is, to really have enough space and resources to actually attract and grow these companies so they go out and do the work to change the world. That's really the effort. I think that we're getting very close to having the fund together, very close to be able to attract that and putting investment thesis together that makes sense, that's aligned to that. So the biggest challenge is like just making sure we're doing it right, making sure that those resources are coming in, and then equipping the founders at every stage, because founders get stuck at certain revenue points, and just equipping them so that when they do spawn out of here, they're fully capable of that growth trajectory, to really drive their growth, drive their business, exit, and then figure out how they want to give back. What the idea is that, not to get too far outside of GCU, is that Arizona has this really unique opportunity to be a beacon for startups. And it's not just Phoenix, there's Sedona, there's a whole place. It is an amazing state. I came from the East Coast 25 years ago. I'm never going back. I don't even like stepping on the bathroom tile floor when it's cold, so I love Arizona.
Yeah.
But here's how ecosystems like ours actually get funded. So when you're a founder and you get an exit, you actually take that money and you put it into a venture fund here, right? And then those funds actually reinvest in companies here. We've just started this.
Yeah.
Like when you say like, what are the companies that have exited from Arizona? Most people know GoDaddy.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been, like, we don't have this Silicon Valley sort of Rolodex of companies that have exited.
Yeah.
We're just starting that. What I would love no more to have like dozens of venture capital firms here, dozens of limited partners who are getting exits, who are reinvesting, and so Arizona becomes this place like, oh, you've got a tech startup, you got a climate tech, you got this, you need to come to Arizona.
Yeah.
There's capital there, there's resources there, you'll get trained there. There's places like Grand Canyon University, there's this university, and we create this amazing place. I don't want to be like Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Well, and you've got the basic ecosystem of Arizona is conducive to this. You've got a reasonable, low tax, low tax rate. You've got, generally friendly environment for entrepreneurship.
Yep.
And you need to keep it that way. Even though people like me who moved from California, we need to make sure that we're all voting to keep it that way too.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's like in spite of itself, California is so successful because of its momentum and the entrepreneurs, but they've created so much headwinds to the entrepreneurial world that it still keeps happening because they have so much momentum. But I believe that given modern technology, what we've seen, you can be anywhere and do anything, and you have access to the best of the best everywhere. And you guys are building I say you guys, I'm a resident now too, so we are building, big chip plants, and there's a lot of really cool stuff happening. in the broader ecosystem.
Yep. Number one in direct foreign investments. We'll have another $100 million coming in, and that tech ecosystem, or the chip ecosystem, includes data centers and all these things. It's this massive. Now, if you look at this, now here's the place where you want to be. You want to be, they're making the chips you're going to put in AI right here. If you're an AI company, you want to be here, access chip, access technology. So all these things, it's so exciting to be here. And also, like, the one thing I think that we have as an advantage is that, I have friends that live in Silicon Valley, and it's very difficult to find places to live. It's very costly. So we have this place that's basically so nascent in terms of our growth. Like, we have this place where you can come here, you can find a home to live in, you can, it's affordable, you can do those things. And literally the next 25 years in Arizona, I have this vision that we will be the place on the planet where people want to come to. We don't have hurricanes like Florida does, right? We don't have, and Texas has these things. This will be the place. Yeah, it's a little hot here in the summer.
Yeah, and the Habibs, they go by, I say it right, they go by fast.
But it's a little hot here, but it's hot everywhere in the summer, right?
Yeah.
But past those 4 months, right, there's an ecosystem, there's a community here. Arizona State is the largest, I think, public university. We're 119,000 students. We have talent here, so now is the time and the place.
I didn't realize it was that big, 119,000.
We're 119. We have 26,000 students that live in our campus, which is a city within a city.
Yeah.
Like literally 400 acres right next door here.
Wow.
We're 119,000 students total. We're sort of the inverse of Arizona State University. They have more on ground than we have online, but think about it. We have two of the largest universities on the planet right here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Keeping that town here, finding that. But I have this vision, like, we want to be part of this. Right now, I think it's very normal to see this. I think that when you look at ecosystems like Arizona, and partially California and other places, when they start out, it's a lot of, I call it jazz, like everyone's doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Until it becomes classical.
Right.
We bring everybody together. We focus on one sort of, here's our mission, and then we're all working together. We're getting to that classical sort of orchestra where we're going to be able to do that. And when we do, look out California, look out Texas, look out Utah, look out, Idaho. We will literally, people will be flocking to this state.
Well, that's one of the beautiful things. I've lived all over the country, and I have roots in Indiana and other places. And what I love about the U.S., and what is something that is really unique, I think, is we do have this competition among states and communities, and it's almost like, we've got these 50 laboratories. It's actually more because it's cities too, right? But we've got these laboratories of experimentation, and we see what works and we see what doesn't work. And it's so clear where it's working, where it's not working, and we need to get out of our own way as a society, just to like, hey, there's abundance for everyone.
Yep.
Get out of the way of the people that are going to go do things, and the give back. It needs to be part of it. It's not just about, like, I look at, I have friends who are hedge fund guys and private equity guys, and they perform a function. But I think there is a strain that is entrepreneurial based, building businesses, having exits, reinvesting, doing it again. That is a give back, and it raises everyone up.
Yep.
It's really positive.
We're getting there. We're getting, and Smoke, in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see some big exits come out of Arizona, and they'll reinvest in Arizona, and that's where you'll see, okay, now this is hyperdrive. Like, we're really starting to grow this. We just started that. We're just at the point where now we have, a dozen or more VC firms. We've got other stuff, and we're just starting that. And what's happening is that the Taiwan Semiconductor of the world, the $100 million investment, that's a massive tailwind for entrepreneurs, right? Because now they're pushing, we need this, we need that, we need innovation. Yeah. So all that's coming, and we are literally positioned so well to do that. And what I would like for us to be humbly here at GCU is just a small twist on that wrench to build this place, this beautiful place, Arizona, into something that's, wow, you got to come there, like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing it. There's other colleagues that have it at other universities, they're doing it. So it's we are trying to build something, I think, really beautiful here, so that my kids are here, I want them to stay here. I don't want them to have to leave, right? If they want to, that's great, but I would like for them to say, I never want to leave Arizona.
Yeah.
We don't want people, the brain drain. We don't want that. We want people, the best talent to stay here in Arizona to create something truly amazing in this state that I think we're doing it now, and it has the potential. And a lot of people have worked to create that opportunity for us to do it. I think it's my responsibility as a business leader here to actually fulfill that promise for these students, my kids, my kids, like, to be able to leave that legacy here. Hey, we'll build this for you. You know, we'll get after it every day to make sure there's something really cool here for you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you, Smoke.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you do and for being here and being who you are. And I look forward to, leaning in and helping in any way I can. And if people want to get involved or support what you're doing, what's the best way to contact you or
Yes,
the center?
we have a website. It's gcuworks.gcu.edu. So, but GCU.
I'll put it in the notes.
Yeah,
so
we can put it in the notes. But that's and we give thousands of tours here, so they want to come by and see it.
And it's worth coming. It's super cool. If you're entrepreneurial and you want to see like it live, like this is how things are made. It's you see it. You see the creative energy.
Yeah, but we'd love to have you coming in for a tour, just bringing people in for it. That's, I think, the best way to communicate it, because we could tell you or we could show you. We'd just rather show you.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Thanks, Smoke.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Wyatt, how we do?
We did good. Rolling.
Okay. Caleb, welcome to the Smoke Trail.
Thank you, Smoke. Appreciate it being here.
Super excited to be here at Grand Canyon University, and this is a pretty amazing place.
Yeah. Some just amazing people, opportunity, and that's really what I saw when I first came here. It's just the opportunity students like me and others just have here. It's just truly incredible. So
is that why you came here?
Yeah, so I came here because they do discover trips here, so they bring students in, and I was a student. I didn't know where I wanted to go. Like a lot of kids, picking a college is kind of a big deal,
Yeah.
And you have friends who are looking at different schools, and you're like, oh, do I want to join them and whatnot? And I had an opportunity here where I worked in a CNC shop because I'm an engineer. So I learned machining in high school, and I was going to become an engineer here, and I had an opportunity to work there. But yeah, it just dragged me in somehow. So yeah.
Well, it's got such a great energy here, walking around and seeing all the different entrepreneurial ventures, and you can just feel it in the air. It's like everybody's here. They're all working on stuff, and you guys collaborate a lot with each other?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, we all help each other out, and there's some amazing people in here. When I got started, I was just a freshman here. I heard about business. I had a decent idea of like a product at the time, and I joined a club on campus called Idea Club, which just helps entrepreneurs. That's all it is. It's entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. And student entrepreneurs. It's not just adults. It's adults help mentor the leaders in it, but then the leaders are that the students, they then help the next students. And so it's kind of a cool chain of entrepreneurs giving back to entrepreneurs. And so got dragged into that, and I now get to run it also. So
cool.
I'm the president of Idea Club on campus, and it's just really cool opportunity to give back to the next generation. So
yeah, that's awesome. I can feel the energy. I can see why it's attractive. And so give me a little your backstory. So you grew up in
Northern California.
Yep. Way up
in Redding.
Yeah.
And I just grew up there. It was a great life. I have an amazing family. I have one brother, and I grew up doing sports, played soccer, travel soccer, and I just worked hard. And I think learning in sports how to work hard and push yourself really translated to a lot of my business stuff, and pushing yourself and just going above and beyond. And then I came down to Phoenix and just fell in love with this place. So
yeah, it's a pretty magical spot. So when you were heading here as a freshman, you had a business idea. Is it the one you ended up doing, or is it? Okay, so tell us a little bit about that, and I'd love to hear.
Yeah, so we made Car Chap. So Car Chap was a simple idea. So Northern California gets hot just like Phoenix, 114 some days. You know, people leave the lip balm in their car, it melts, just like this one right here. It melts, it goes sideways, re-solidifies sideways, which is really a big issue. And then might ruin your car, might ruin your purse. And so what we did is we fixed that by just simply suspending your lip balm in an upright position. Now what this does is it keeps your lip balm in its original container so it can re-solidify. Super simple. You turn your AC in your car on for 5-10 minutes, it's re-solidified, you can use it again. And then it also helps prevent loss. So I often ask people, when was the last time you finished a lip balm? And they're like, oh, never, you know? And so it's a very simple solution, and my mom is the one who was like, let's just hold it upright. And so I 3D printed a little thing that worked for her, and I put it up online as a joke. Like, I saw my brother selling stuff on eBay, and I was like, well, I kind of want to try this online retail, and so I put it up online as a joke, and then it started selling. We all know that's called a proof of concept now. But from there, it was cool to see how it transitioned, and I did that my senior year. I created my senior year in high school, and then I shut it down when I came to college. I did like $2K in revenue. It was great, like senior project, it was fun. And then I worked in the CNC shop, like I mentioned earlier. And then I joined Idea Club, which is where it's like, oh wait, I had this idea back then. I didn't really push it that hard. Kind of did it as a joke. Let's see what happens now. And so got it up on Amazon, Etsy, Shopify, TikTok Shop, and right now we're working on distribution. But it took off, and so competed in what's called the Canyon Challenge, which is like a Shark Tank on campus here. I didn't win. I got second place, but it's cool. Like, I think that was just a chip on the shoulder that made me keep going, you know? And so from there, it kind of blew up. So we had some great traction on TikTok. It's crazy what someone's video can do for you. And we were on Car and Driver magazine, Good Housekeeping magazine, a big YouTube channel called Donut Media, a bunch of different publications, and it really took off. And so this last year, we did over $600,000 in revenue just off of this single product.
Wow.
So
And are they all 3D printed?
So yeah, great question. So we have some here. These are like the 3D printed colors. And then this one right here, this is the injection mold one. So we have the injection mold blister packaging now. And that's what you might hopefully see in stores here. So we're still working on our connections there. But we have high hopes, and it's a proven product that sells. You know, why would it not be successful in stores? And we just want to provide the same value that a lot of people see it at an easier accessibility point. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really just a story about like how simple an idea can be, right? And just.
Well, 600,000 is no joke. I mean, it's obviously got a market fit. And so, what is the evolution of the business? Is it just more of the same, more distribution? Do you have other product ideas coming? I have a feeling this is not the last one.
Well, I really do enjoy, I love the business stuff is fun. But I truly am an engineer at heart. I love making things, and so I have kind of a little shop out there where I can make new products and what's next. And there's a couple things in the works, a couple ideas. We have one called Night Dock that is a weight that you can magnetically organize your cables. So oftentimes people, how many times do you pick up a cable off the ground? It's like, it's a small inconvenience, but like if we just have a magnetic system, it doesn't have to have that inconvenience. And so we're all about just like creating small inventions. They're not going to cure cancer, but it's just starting with small things and helping improve people's lives in a daily way. So
very cool. Awesome. So big picture, you know, this is going to be a big success. You're going to have more to come. You know, where do you see yourself down the road? Like, do you have any big aspirations?
I think, I would love to just, retire my parents. That's one thing that I've always thought about dreaming of, and they've just given so much to me. And my mom's my business partner now on it, and so it's been fun to have this in the family. And I think one thing I do love is just helping the next person in life. And I really do appreciate my high school shop teacher, who's the one that pushed me to create this and go to GCU and get plugged in and just have these experiences, you know? And so I'd love to incorporate that somehow in my future. Just help people out, the next generation. Inspire kids to start creating again is what I like to say.
That's awesome. I love that. And, you know, sometimes it just takes seeing someone do something to inspire the next person to do something else. You know, it's like, oh, you mean that was as simple as the idea, and like you just went out and executed and did it. I mean, it's not just, there's obviously a lot of hard work, I'm sure there was lots of trial and error, mistakes made, and all the things, right?
Oh yeah.
But just seeing one person's success, I think inspires many others to do things. And I love that you have this genuine interest in giving back, that you have such an appreciation, obviously, gratitude of what got you here. And that's such a beautiful thing. I mean, honestly, that's where this world needs to go. It is where it's going. And conscious leaders who get it, you know, and you're starting out, you know, at a very young age, already understanding that, that's beautiful.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's truly a testament to like the people that you surround yourself with, and you know, and I'm appreciative of all the leaders that pour into me, and it's really cool. I think the coolest part of entrepreneurship that I saw before I came kind of into the entrepreneur world is how much they just give back.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's doing this by themselves, and so either your family or the mentors, and so I really just do. I just want to be that for someone else, you know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, and that's really what you asked me before we started talking, but the Smoke Trail is really about is, you know, I've been an entrepreneur, I've created a bunch of companies, I've had my big wins, and I've had, you know, setbacks and challenges like anyone else. But as I have gone through my spiritual awakening and understanding kind of the higher power and what is important, you know, this platform is really about having conversations with leaders and bringing in spirituality to it. So it's like, you know, what is it all about? And it is about giving back. I mean, it's you're only as good as the love you give, and you know, and understanding that early is, you know, magic.
Yeah.
You know, because the more you give, the more it will be abundant back to you. It's just the way the world works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a big part of my life too is my faith walk. As a Christian, it's just, I think a lot of the answers and how you treat others is just in my faith walk, and so a lot of it is, I mean, without Christ saving us and just the sacrifice, you know, of the Father, and so I've been able to grow in business here at GCU, but also in faith, and that's another really cool thing. It's like, let's go get lunch and talk about business, but it's also how can we incorporate faith into helping these next students. And maybe it's not direct, you know, like maybe it's just pouring into someone and earning the right to get to share your faith with them and just have a conversation about it, because a lot of times it's the conversations that we're missing. So
and I think maybe sometimes it goes underappreciated, but it's the being that you are that speaks louder than words. So how you conduct yourself, how you do your business, how you know, treat your vendors, how you treat your team, your customers, how you behave, is saying something vibrationally to the universe and everyone around you. And so don't underestimate, even when you're not talking faith, you're living it. And living it is actually the more important thing. You know, it's who you are, who you become. And I think that, you know, it's awesome. I really appreciate the journey you're on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a lot of success. You already are crushing it. And Car Chap, where can they find it if they want to find these things?
So you can find it at Amazon. Hopefully you can find it here in stores soon. But Amazon, Etsy, at The Car Chap. We also have our Shopify website, thecarchap.com. Just product that solves your lip balm issues. So
and like, what a great gift for everyone in your family.
Stocking stuffers.
Stocking stuffers
are
you
pretty
know,
big.
This is not a selling show, but like, you know what? This is like a great entrepreneur, great business. Like, this is no brainer, right? It's so good. Well, thanks for being a part of this, and I look forward to following your journey as you expand, and maybe we can have you on as you come out with other products, and
love it.
Tell us about your faith walk as well.
Of course. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
Doug. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Smoke Trail.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Really good to be here, and love what you're doing here. But like, I want to talk about what you've created, but give me a little bit of your why. Like, what brought you here? Like, why'd you get hooked on it? I know you grew up in Long Island.
Yeah, I'm from Long Island, New York. My best friend actually was talking to some girl in California, and she was going to GCU, and this was during COVID, so we didn't have much going on at home. He went out here for school, and I couldn't afford it. So I was doing community college for a year or whatever, and it was just awful. I couldn't stand it. I had to wear the mask. I was doing online school, and I came to visit my buddy. And I came out here, and for the first time ever, I saw a palm tree.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is a really nice place to be.
No palm trees in Long Island.
Yeah. And then I toured this Canyon Ventures building, and I saw kids my age that were entrepreneurs making so much money and like just doing things that they loved. And
Yeah.
I said to myself, I want to be here in 4 years. This is where I want to be when I graduate.
Yeah.
So I was like, I came home, I said, Mom, I'm going to GCU. She goes, you can't afford it? I said, I'm going to GCU. I hopped on a plane, went to GCU, and in 4 years, I got accepted in the Canyon Ventures building and started my own business. It's been a crazy journey since then. The reason that I invented this device was because my mother, back in junior year of high school, I was obsessed with the gym. I'd come home and I would spill my protein powder all over the counter every day, and she was sick and tired of it.
And you, just importantly, you were a wrestler too.
I was a wrestler, yes. I wrestled in high school. I
Yeah.
played lacrosse in high school. I've pretty much done every sport you can, under the sun.
Okay.
So yes, I would spill all over the place. She'd get mad, and I was like, you know what? There's got to be a better way to do this. So I took an entrepreneurship class with Robert Vera, my mentor, and I went up to the class, and he's on the first day. He said, "Anyone have an idea?" And I was like, I have an idea. I was like, it's really stupid, but I have an idea. So I got up there and I said, I have this problem and I got to figure out how to solve it. And he goes, this is great. This is awesome. And we worked on it all semester. I ended up pitching in the Canyon Challenge, which is my school's pitch competition.
Okay.
I ended up winning some funding money to start my business. I bought a 3D printer, and then from then on out, it's just been a whole crazy journey of how did I even, sometimes I'm like, I wake up and like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's like you're in a movie.
Yeah.
You're the star of your own movie.
Yeah.
And like you step back and say, oh, that movie's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's exactly, no, literally, I was just home for like a family vacation. And I'm like, I used to live this life. I used to live here. And now I live across the country just doing my own thing. It's crazy.
That's so awesome. I love the energy. I love your energy. And I love the energy of this place.
Yes.
And it's I was asking you earlier, do you guys collaborate and help each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day. Like Robert said, their answer is one person away, or literally it's around the corner.
Yeah.
I go to people every day, ask them for opinions, ask them for advice. When entrepreneurs are on their own, it's kind of like a church, right? You go to the church for advice. You go to church for your support group. It's kind of like what we have here. You go to your people for your support. You ask certain people questions that have more expertise in that area. It's just such a good environment to be in. You have whatever you need right here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and I love that. Well, how fun. Well, all right. So what is it called? This is
a powder pal.
the powder pal.
You've got 2 tablespoons powder pal in your hand.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the one that goes over the water bottle.
Yeah.
It's super simple for
so
people.
you put your powder,
Scoop your powder.
protein or whatever it is, and then it goes right in. Because when I'm traveling, it's like at home I have the bullet or whatever, and we make it shakes. And
you still can spill. I noticed that every time. Right.
No,
I noticed
it's not
every time you flip your wrist with the original scoop, you risk losing your powder. $2 to $5 all over your counter. Then you got to clean it up. It's a waste of time, waste of money.
But when I'm traveling, I'm in hotels. I usually don't have the shakers or anything, and then I'm trying to use some little bottle of water with a little lid, a little opening, and I'm like, how do I do this? And I pour it in a cup, and I'm trying to stir it, and then I try to get back in the thing. This solves it. It goes right in.
And that's yours. There you go.
That's awesome. Well, so tell me about. All right, so you designed it. You used your winnings to buy the 3D printer.
Yep.
Was it just like this when it started?
So actually, Wyatt Brown, behind the camera over there, helped me design the powder pal. So the first iteration wasn't great. We didn't have this funnel part here.
Yeah.
We also didn't have this taper, so the powder used to get stuck, and it was hard to go in a water bottle.
Yeah.
And then we were selling it as just like that. And then through customer feedback, we were like, wait, people want this. People want this.
Right.
So really, truly listening to customers got us where we are today.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna. That's gonna help us make our next move, which is the collagen that I was speaking about before.
Yeah.
Through customer feedback, we figured out all these things.
Yeah. Well, so all right. So then tell me about how you got it to market. Like, how did people find out about it? What did you do? You guys were just using social media. Yeah.
Yeah. So great question. I am kind of a ready, fire, aim kind of guy.
Yeah.
So
I've used that term many times. I can appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. So I had my MVP, my minimal viable product. And I was going out to like gym shows. I was selling at school. I was literally going up to people in the gym. I set a goal. I said, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna sell 5 powder pals today.
Yeah.
So I would like harass people in the gym. Basically, I'd go up and be like, what do you think about this? So I'd sell 5 a day in the gym. And then I was making TikTok videos, making Instagram videos, and I was like, wow, there's this thing called TikTok Live, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not very big on the internet, and that was like a whole untapped market for me. As soon as I started doing that, I saw instant traction, instant success, because I noticed that this product is so easily demonstratable.
Yeah.
You're showing value in real time, and if you could demonstrate that value to people and they see it and watch you do it, you can sell anything to people, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
As long as you demonstrate the value in real time. So that was really what brought me from 0 to 160K in less than 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you started in TikTok Live.
Yep.
People just started pressing buy some.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
TikTok
then you're
makes
like,
it so easy. You just press buy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then it just took off from there. So
Yeah.
that, like now you're just like that's your main marketing.
Yep.
And now you've got customers who are giving you feedback and
Yep.
saying, you know what, there's no good collagen.
Right. Exactly.
Or the collagen that I'm using is not working for me or whatever.
Yeah, I think people just didn't know about collagen. Like I
Yeah.
said, there's brands that just tell people to use a certain amount. But I noticed that, if you're 20 years old, you don't really need to take 4 tablespoons of collagen. You might only need 1.
Yeah.
These brands aren't telling them that. So I'm here to tell you, hey, if you're 20 years old, take 1 scoop of collagen. If
Yeah.
you're 60 years old, you need microdoses throughout the day, and you need different types of collagen. So I'm here to tell people that
Yeah.
and give them what they actually need.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
So now the way you look at it is you've got kind of a loyal following,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like a almost captive base of customers.
Yeah.
And you're just curating kind of what else they might need.
Yeah, I mean, just solving people's problems, I think
Yeah.
that's so fun. I just love it. Like,
Yeah.
I started out solving my problem, and I was like, you know what? If I have this problem, I guarantee you other people have this problem.
Yeah.
And I noticed, I was like, everyone spills their powders. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So if I could prevent that and save people money, why not?
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so bigger picture.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself down the road? Like, what do you aspire to?
See, that's the hard question for me because right now I live in
get
the
it.
moment. I wake up, I don't even know what day it is. I
Yeah.
just go to work, get
You're
after
just
it.
present.
Yeah, no, but I think in the future I want to be a Robert Vera.
Yeah.
Robert Vera is my mentor. His mission is to be significant in the lives of others.
Yeah.
And I heard him say that, and I was like, wow, that really that touched my heart.
Yeah.
And if I could be significant in the lives of others, that'd be so great. I think that's so important to be insignificant in others' lives, because if you're not doing that every day, like, what is your purpose? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
it's giving back every day.
Exactly.
And it's showing up with gratitude for all the people that gave to you and got you here.
Exactly.
And it's like, how do I help the next one? It's and if we literally, it is the definition of raising your consciousness, right? So that's like my words, but the way I think about it is, if you're highly conscious, you're thinking about the all.
Right.
And the all includes you.
Yeah.
It includes being successful, having a great family, having success in your business and abundance, optimal abundance, not unlimited abundance.
Right.
Optimal abundance means give you everything you need in this world, and the best way to do that is to give back to others.
I agree.
Right? And the more you give back, the more abundance you have.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's why this is like a magical place, because you guys are just high vibration, super positive energy. And look, everyone has setbacks, right? You've had some along the way.
Oh, I've had setbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like nothing too significant yet.
Yeah.
But we're
But
everyone's
some of
expected.
your friends and colleagues and people, you've seen people, like, things hasn't worked out, right?
Yeah.
But then what do? They dust off and
Exactly.
start another one, or
Yeah. We like to say fail fast and fail hard.
Yeah.
Because through the failures you learn quicker.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things, like, early on in my entrepreneur career, I could have benefited from, like, calling it on some things earlier instead of, like, oh no, I can do this, and just forcing something that, like, wasn't working.
Sure.
And, like, and then I'm 2 years into it, I'm like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
I have to pivot.
It's
So-
always weird when you, like, take a step back and you get that bird's eye view. It's like, wow, I don't know, like, you just realize things that happen that you either did well or did wrong, and you have no idea in the moment.
Yeah.
You have no idea until maybe years after. Like, I'm gonna look back one day and be like, I did that? What the heck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think your awareness of that it shows a level of advancement that is quite good. I mean,
just being aware of what you just said,
Yeah.
saying that is like, okay, because there's a lot of kids that are like, oh, you know, they're oblivious, right? You're very present, and that's important. Stay that way. You know.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're rocking
Yeah.
it. Well, awesome. Well, where can they find it other than TikTok, or is that the only? Like,
Yeah, you can go to powderpal.shop. You can go
Okay.
on TikTok, just look up PowderPal. You can go on Etsy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where we have it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for being on. I look forward to checking back in and seeing how you're doing, and if I can be of any help to you as you go, let me know.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Cheers.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
All right. That was good, Wyatt?
Right, rolling.
All right, Nick, welcome to the Smoke Trail.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's cool.
Yeah, it's super excited to be here. I love the energy in this place, and I love what you're doing. I'd love to hear maybe a little of your backstory, like before we talk about the product itself. Like, what got you here? What got you doing this? What was the inspiration?
Yeah, so I guess from the beginning, I'm from Arizona.
Yeah.
And lived here my whole life. Grew up playing golf, and when I was 14, I won a golf tournament. And you know, when you're young, you play all the sports, but for whatever reason, I just loved golf. And when I won that golf tournament, decided, man, I love this game. Like, I want to go pro. I want to do this, make this my real thing. And started traveling the country, competing in every tournament possible, won a few more local tournaments, traveled the country, you know, placed high in some national ones. Wasn't like the best ever, but I was good enough to get some offers from some colleges. Ended up getting an offer from Arizona State University when I was 16. And then I thought, I'm going to ASU, man. That's like the dream if you're from Arizona.
Yeah.
ASU is a really good golf school.
Yeah.
Turned 17, and the coach got fired, and a new coach came in, wiped out everybody on the team. So I lost my spot. At that time, it was a little bit too late in the game to go get a spot at other schools because they'd filled their rosters.
Yeah.
So I had to perform like better than I'd ever performed if I was to go make a case to go play.
So you were like walking
schools.
on basically.
Yeah, basically walking on.
Yeah.
And I definitely had the talent to do it, but started getting all up in my head about the future, started getting anxiety, and that manifested as sort of these like mini panic attacks on the golf course.
Yeah.
So I'd step up onto the first tee, suddenly heart's in my throat, vision's going blurry, like I can't breathe. I'm like, what is happening? Like suddenly can't get off the tee box, can't hit the ball. And that had never happened before.
Yeah.
So oftentimes people that have performance anxiety, the secret is to just go do that thing a million times until you're comfortable with it. But what about the people who've already done it a million times and suddenly it's like, where's this problem coming from?
Yeah.
I've never had this problem before. And started happening all the time. Told my coaches about it, and they're like, dude, just relax, just breathe. And I'm like, wow, just breathe. Oh wait, I can't breathe. I don't think you get it. When your nervous system locks up and it's in full-blown fight or flight, you can't breathe, you can't think. Like everything just kind of stops. And you would do anything to make it stop in that moment because it's painful. In those moments too, when you're out on the course, you can't step aside for 30 minutes and find a quiet space because you got to go. We got stuff to do. Like we got to perform.
It's
people
game
are
time.
Watching you. And that was my experience. And I realized there's really nothing that can calm people down. I saw a sports psychiatrist, and he prescribed me benzodiazepines, which at the time I knew nothing about any of these things. I'm just like, oh, it's a pill that's going to relax me. Cool. Take it. Now, these are not rescue medications, so you don't take it and you get the effects right away. You still have to kind of take it early, and because it takes like an hour to kick in. So I'd take it an hour before golf, and it totally worked. Like, get up on the tee, I don't really feel anything. And I'm like, wow, this is great. Problem was, it created other problems where I didn't feel anything the whole round. I'm losing my motivation. I'm tired. I started noticing I'm like, I don't have much focus. I don't really want to be out here right now.
There's other effects.
Yeah, there's other effects. And then just looking into it more, saw the label. There's a black box warning label for benzodiazepines, which means it could kill you if you combine it with other things like other drugs. If you're drinking, I wasn't drinking alcohol when I was a teenager, but a lot of side effects, potential addiction. If you become addicted to it, now you have withdrawals. You can't just stop taking it. So that was a dangerous pill. I'm like, there's no way. I don't want to take this. And just realized there's nothing that's really designed for someone like me out there dealing with this symptom. So I went to school and wanted to study that response, like what's going on inside my body, not from a psychology perspective, but from like an engineering perspective, like what's physically happening in my brain and my body, and how do we stop it? Ideally as soon as possible, and I didn't really care how we did it as long as it was safe and it worked. Studied biomedical engineering for 4 years and then went straight into the Ph.D. program. And in my PhD program is where I had the time to actually do a project, build stuff, do research, learned about stuff like magnetic stimulation. So you can put these big giant coils up to your head.
Yeah.
I can shut off like my whole prefrontal cortex, which is where you do all your thinking and processing. And I could just be like doled out and just be like, But it's a giant machine.
Yeah.
You can't take it with you, and you have to have doctor supervision while you're doing it. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work. Learned about this thing called the vagus nerve, VAGUS. So the vagus nerve, connects your brain to your body, but its primary job is to pull you out of that fight or flight state. And it does it on its own. You don't really need to do anything. So when you're healthy, people that experience stressors, which everybody gets stressed, you experience a little bit of fight or flight. Yeah. But then when it's over, you relax. And that's because the vagus nerve pulls you out of it. Okay. But for people, for various reasons, it could be due to injury, illness, concussion, trauma, chronic illness, various reasons can cause your vagus nerve to go silent. And that's when, if a stressor comes, it stresses you out, but you never recover.
Yeah, and so you're producing cortisol, and you're in that fight or flight mode, and you don't come down out of it.
Yeah, you don't come down out of it, or you're very easily triggered and sent back into fight or flight. And
I mean, the interesting thing is, I want to keep your thought here, but just, we were biologically engineered or developed or evolved, to avoid a saber-toothed tiger or whatever. Exactly. Fight or flight was to survive. And fast forward to today, and we still have those primal instincts, primal mechanisms in place, but we're triggering it with things like someone yelling at you in the office, someone cutting you off in a car, stressor, like all these stressors that aren't really life-threatening, but they trigger that fight or flight thing. So we're doing it to ourselves all the time.
Yeah, and that's the key. It's the constant exposure to these stressors is keeping your nervous system on edge. Yeah. Like your mind knows you're just living daily life, but your nervous system thinks it's in survival mode. Right. Because you can handle 1 or 2 stressors a day, but if it's stressor, your nervous system is just locked in that fight or flight state. Yep. And most of the time, that's why people start to get panic attacks where they never did before, is they're just constantly exposed to stuff. And so that could be why it happened to me. Being a kid, you're on social media all the time. So it's like constant like alertness, and like you're a little bit stressed out, and then add that into certain situations in life that could trigger a little bit of trauma, and now your nervous system is just full-blown fight or flight all the time. So the vagus nerve is supposed to pull you out of that, but for the people with chronic stress, usually it's silent. So all we have to do is reactivate the vagus nerve, and you can come out of fight or flight within minutes. Doesn't matter how long you've been in it. It could be a decade. Like, we can pull you out of it in 10 minutes. There's a study, the first study I read was they applied electrical stimulation, so energy, directly to the nerve inside the ear. And within 15 seconds, heart rate comes down. Within a few minutes, muscle tension, breathing rate comes down. Pretty much all the physical symptoms of being in that fight or flight state come down. And usually it takes about 10 to 20 minutes for people to just fully relax. Yeah. And that's just one session. And to me, I was like, that's what I needed when I was on the golf course. So at the time, I tried all the available products, which were like earbud devices. And I could feel it, but it wasn't that like hard-hitting, immediate calm. Like, I needed something now, like 60 seconds or less. I don't want to wait 20 minutes to relax. So I started thinking, I'm like, what if we just cranked up the energy and just hit the vagus nerve really hard for like a short amount of time, would that work? And being a scientist, you can mess around with all this stuff. So I built a little machine, and instead of targeting inside the ear, I came down just under the ear.
Yeah.
And I'm hitting basically the trunk of the tree. So I'm hitting a larger branch of the nerve.
Yeah.
Cranked it up, and that was it. I eyes closed because I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then after 60 seconds, I removed it. And I'm like, head is just kind of like buzzing, like my face feels warm. And I'm like, that's the feeling I was looking for. Like that would have reset my brain in those moments when I feel like
and were you your own
science
experiment? Like were you like working on testing everything out on yourself over and over again?
Yeah, that's how it starts, right? You just start on yourself.
Totally.
Now the good news is I had that idea myself, but I started digging into the research, and there was already studies that had been done on the high intensity stimulation, and it did show that if the higher intensity you can go, the faster the results. Just a number, for example, like the maximum I saw, they would put out about 20 milliamps of power, where the typical stimulation's around 2 to 4. So you're putting it from 2 to 4 to 20, and you're seeing results that are much more immediate. And the product we built maxes out at about 16, so it's not even as high as what's been done.
Yeah.
But we built a high-powered product. Next was, let's go do the research, make sure this is safe, it's effective. Started out with 150 college students and just measuring the safety. And after a single session, no side effects, no one reported that they couldn't tolerate it. Everyone did it and was like, that was great. Next was, let's get a real-world population of people with severe fight or flight. So we looked at PTSD, panic disorder. We got 24 patients come in. We did a placebo control. So half got placebo, half got the real deal. And in the active group, we had a 100% rate of relaxation, only a 30% in the placebo. And we had a 36% average drop in state anxiety reduction after a single use, which was twice the drop in the placebo group. So we're twice as effective as placebo. You're always going to get a drop in the placebo group because that's the nature of stress and anxiety. Is a lot of it is mental.
Totally.
If you tell yourself you're going to get better, like often
if you tell
get
yourself
a
you're
better.
sick, you're sick. If you tell yourself you're healthy, you're probably healthy. So,
but the goal is to be more effective than that, right?
Yeah.
So we demonstrated it was more effective, and then I looked at how does this compare to the fastest acting benzos. So the fastest acting benzo is a nasal alprazolam spray. Like you're spraying benzos up your nose.
Yeah.
It still kicks in about 10 to 15 minutes. And there's only a few clinical trials that are reported on this, but the average symptom reduction after 15 minutes is about 37%. So we're 1% less effective than them, but like ballpark, we're as effective as that.
Yeah.
But the real one was they had a 37% rate who achieved clinically meaningful reductions. We had a 67% rate.
Okay.
So we're almost twice as effective in terms of how many people will experience the
but
benefit.
with no side effects.
But with no side effects.
Yeah.
It works a little faster. You can take it with you everywhere. You don't need a prescription for it.
Yeah.
You can just buy it. And long term, it's way more affordable than a benzo prescription. Like benzos, you get them for cheap on insurance, but you still got to go to a doctor. There's co-pays. There's all kinds of stuff.
So I know I heard a little of the backstory, but like you started out kind of stress relief generically, and then you fine-tune your messaging and your targeting. Tell me a little bit about that. Like how did that go? And like how did that's what really got you guys starting to get real traction? Yeah,
well, we had really fast traction in our first year of launch. So when I had the product, we actually spent 2.5 years doing all the FDA clinical trials, safety testing, making sure it was compliant. And then once we got approval to go to market, I didn't have a marketing plan. I was just like, crap, I'm just a biomedical engineer and researcher. Like, I don't know how to sell stuff. So it took me another several months to figure that out. And we started advertising on Facebook. I learned how to edit videos and film myself.
Yeah.
And the angle we used was kind of that like high level, if you're stuck in fight or flight, this will help you get out of it really fast. And we just kind of took off. We did like 1.3 million our first year in revenue just from that, advertising channel. And then, we made some I wouldn't say mistakes, but we didn't understand fully like supply chain, and so we spent several months out of stock.
Yeah.
That kind of hurt our traction. And then, I was doing everything the first year. I was making all the videos. I was doing all the editing. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so naturally, if you want to get to the next level, you got to start hiring teams to do stuff. Hired a team. I hired the wrong team. They weren't really great at advertising, and they took the message to a more high level, like stress relief.
Right.
Which I get it. It's a bigger audience because everybody's stressed, but it wasn't a painful problem because most people, if you go up to them and say, "Are you stressed?" everyone's going to say yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of modalities for helping solve stress in general.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of them.
Whether it's meditation, breathing, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
right?
But this isn't a stress relief product.
Yeah.
Will it reduce stress? Of course.
Yeah.
But this is for people whose nervous systems are stuck in that fight or
in
flight
panic
state.
mode.
Maybe they're not panicking all the time, but their nervous system feels like it's trying to survive all day, and they might get panic attacks, once or twice a week.
So it's acute stress.
Yeah, it's a really fast way to pull out of a severe fight or flight state.
Yeah.
So did some shuffling around with our team, and we're back now to that core message of fight or flight, and we've even been doing some panic attack kind of messaging because that's what it's most effective for. Like, if we just talk about panic attacks for a second, panic attack is the most severe form of a stress response.
Yeah.
That's when you literally, everything locks up, you can't breathe, like you can't think, you can't do anything, you just have to let it pass. And it sucks, it's painful. They last maybe 10 minutes, but because it's such a painful experience, a lot of people spend the next several hours just trying to recover from what the heck just happened.
Right.
So maybe they can't go to work that day, or they're just not going to be productive at all. And this is the first tool that can literally reset that nervous system response in 15 seconds. All you have to do is just pull it out, open up the cap, and apply it right here. It takes 2 seconds.
Okay.
So if you can feel the panic coming on, usually panic can come on in about 30 seconds to a minute. So that's why meditation doesn't work or all these other tools don't work, because there's a setup time.
Yeah.
But if you have something that in 2 seconds, you can catch any panic attack and stop it before it starts.
Yeah.
And that's been crushing it for us. Like, a lot of people are seeing the benefits there.
I'm sure you've already thought of this, but I think about I know some people who are really fearful of flying.
Yeah.
What a great tool to have.
Well, so this is really fun. So we had a lot of people in the early days say, hey, it'd be great if you had a hands-free version. The handheld was designed for rapid, on-the-spot calm when you need it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other use cases where you would want to stimulate your vagus nerve for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, especially for sleep. If you struggle to fall asleep, you might want a longer vagal nerve session to just really deeply calm the nervous system. So we were like, all right, let's make a hands-free version. We tried a lot of designs. We tried some wonky neck wearables, but it was those just look weird. I want something people can use in public that's not going to draw attention. So that's what we did with this headphone product.
Yeah.
So these headphones are Bose level quality, noise cancellation, and we put our stimulation components on the sides. You can see in the gold here.
Okay.
And what you do is you just put them on like normal, and the electrodes automatically press right against the vagus nerve on both sides.
Okay.
So it's a little more effective, or I would say you get the results a little faster when you do both.
Yeah.
Hands-free, can combine it with music. And we did, we just sold 1,000 of these on a pre-order. We're not selling them right now because we got to get the orders in first.
Yeah.
But in our early beta testing, we did a beta test with 200 of these about a year ago. And the number one use case was flight anxiety.
Yeah.
We had a lot of professional athletes reach out to us, or their medical people on the team, and say, during season, we fly so much, and there's at least 3 to 5 people on every team who just get that flight anxiety. Yeah. And it's the perfect, modality for that. You just pop it on, blocks out all the noise, you can close your eyes, listen to your favorite music, and it stimulates that nerve and keeps you from going over the top. It just keeps you regulated the whole time.
Makes sense.
So really cool modality for that, especially, if it's a 3-4 hour flight, just wear it the whole time and just keep calm.
Really cool.
Yeah, a couple different modalities we have now. We've got the more like long-term, sustained calm, and then the quick hit of calm whenever you're
Yeah.
you're.
And what is this?
Yeah, this is really interesting too. So one of my thoughts that I was having is, how do we make the stimulation work even faster, but really, how do we make it last longer? Because when you stimulate the vagus nerve, it works fast, calms you down quickly, but in a lot of cases, for people that are in constant exposure to stress, it might not last for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I'll calm you down right now, but someone could come in and like freak you out, and then suddenly you're back in, and then you'll have to hit it again, which is fine, not too hard to use. But my thought is, how do we make it last all day? Started looking into the mechanisms, like what's physically going on. And the way the vagal nerve stim works is it actually signals to the brain to open up what's called GABA receptors. And then there's a chemical called GABA that gets sucked into the receptors. And that's what triggers down regulation.
Okay.
So if there's not a lot of the free floating GABA in your brain, it doesn't really matter if you hit the vagal nerve stim. It's not going to trigger down regulation.
Yeah.
So you need both. Now, this is a GABA supplement.
Okay.
But it's not just a GABA supplement, it's a liposomal GABA supplement, which means it crosses the blood-brain barrier and gets into the body within about 5 minutes. So it's the fastest acting form of GABA. You can take GABA pills, goes through digestion, takes about an hour to get into your system. But with this liquid, you put it under your tongue, absorbs in a few minutes, and it gets into the brain where it's needed most to down-regulate. Now, this by itself is just putting GABA in the brain. If you have a lot of GABA in the brain, it's, you know, it could be helpful, but you still need to get the receptors to open.
Yeah.
So this by itself won't do much, but you take this
With that.
and then immediately do this, and it's like next level calm. I mean, your eyes are closing, you want to like fall asleep, and that's actually why we called it Hoolist Sleep, because it's designed to put you to sleep faster.
Yeah.
But this will stay in your system for several hours, keeping you asleep the whole night. It's not a artificial, you know, manufactured benzodiazepine. It's not a pill. It's all natural. We're just putting more of what your body naturally makes, so you can feel that effect, you know, quicker, and it'll last a little longer.
Well, that's obviously helping a lot of people. So you're crushing it. You're doing well. It's taking off.
Yeah, it's doing good. We haven't launched GABA yet. We're about to launch it next week. What's great about the GABA is we're using a local manufacturer in Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah.
So we were able to get a lot of formulas tested really fast without having to wait. We just went down there, told them what we wanted, tried a lot of stuff, and then we used the Branch 49 sales team. Those guys are, you know, high stress all the time. They got to be always on and perform.
Yeah.
Gave them all samples of the formula that we dialed in, and all of them came back and were like, yeah, I was out in 5 minutes and slept the whole night. All of them said that they didn't wake up once. Only one of them said it took him like 30 minutes to fall asleep. But when he did, he was like, my dreams were crazy that night. Like I was sleeping, man.
Yeah, it went deep.
Yeah.
It went deep. That's amazing.
So I'm excited for that. So yeah, we'll have a lot of different options for people that, you know, are just looking to overall improve nervous system health.
Yeah. Well, I think you are, and you're going to help a lot more people as this thing gets out there. What's your long-term aspiration, either in the business or in life?
Well, in the business, it's kind of arbitrary, but you know, I'm like, I want 1 million people using these products.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, because 1 million people is still like a tiny percent of how many people in the country, in the world,
who could benefit
struggle with this.
Sure.
So I'd like as many people as possible to just try it, especially, you know, I guess my initial mission was to fight back against those doctors who don't even ask you questions. They just prescribe the benzo thing. That doctor just listened to what I said and said, here's a benzo.
Yeah.
Didn't run any tests, didn't tell if I was deficient in anything. He didn't ask anything else I was doing. He was just like, oh, those are your symptoms?
And really, that's just masking the problem.
Yeah.
Like and with lots of like, you know, lots of, you know, other effects, right, that are not positive. And it seems to me that both the combination of stimulating this plus the GABA, you know, it won't necessarily eliminate it for you, but if you can get yourself where you're not experiencing those fight or flight a lot, you're not experiencing the panic level, it gives you the space to clear other things, right? So a lot of this is subconscious, and it's stuff that has to be cleaned up, and that takes time and work. You can't really work on that stuff if you're in a panic mode.
No.
So if you can get yourself where you're functional using this tool, this gives people a window or an avenue to, do further, deeper work of, different ways different modalities to clear stuff. And, you've always got this, available, so you never have to be worried about the panic. You never have to be worried about that, but you can also do deeper work to clean stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this stuff is not a cure, but drugs are not a cure either.
Right.
Like, drugs just mask it. They don't fix it, they sedate you.
Yeah.
They just make it numb so you don't feel it.
Yeah.
This stuff, while it's not a cure, this actually strengthens the nervous system to make it more resilient over time.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean you're not going to be affected by stuff. Now, the best, if I were to give it my best shot at trying to get someone to totally cure their stress anxiety, which is impossible. Like, everybody's going to have that to some degree, but just get you back to normal. First, we have to get control of the nervous system. Calm yourself down, make sure your body can feel relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can start to think through the triggers, the symptoms. That's the whole job of a therapist, right? Is to talk through those things.
Yeah.
And
it's the shadow work, the deeper finding out what's in your subconscious. And, what traumas, whatever things that have happened that are driving that stuff can be cleared. I mean, I know that because I did it. So I had panic attacks at one point.
Yeah.
I didn't know this didn't exist when I was doing it.
Yeah.
They were giving me medicine. But in my process of cleaning up, I eliminate all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But I look at this as a great, it's way better than the medicine, and it gives you space to do work on yourself to clean that stuff up, and and that's magic. I mean, you can't even work on stuff if you're in a stress mode.
No.
You got to clean that stress up, and then you can introduce things like meditation and mindfulness and breathing and all kinds of things, but you can't do that in a panic mode.
No, you
right?
can't.
So it's a combination of things.
Yeah. The most powerful technique that ever worked for me for just being able to lock in and perform under pressure was visualization.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like, all right, just visualize it. It was deep work. I had to lay down on a couch. For the first 20 minutes, I was just trying to relax my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do that through progressive muscle relaxation.
Yeah.
And if you do it well, you do get to a state where your body doesn't feel like it's in existence. It's
right.
like you're not here.
Yes.
I'm not having some weird experience where I'm like floating up, but it's just like you're so relaxed.
Yes.
But it's hard to get into that state. It takes serious mental focus and effort just to get there. But once you're there, now everything's very clear.
Yeah.
And you can see whatever it is you want to focus on. And what I would work on is I'd put myself in that golf situation and I'd try to simulate what it feels like to be panicking. And then I would visualize myself performing perfectly in that state of panic. And by doing that, I would trick my brain into thinking like, this is actually normal, or like, you can actually do this when you're panicking.
Yeah.
So that way, if I ever get on the first tee and panic hits, I'm like, I've done this a million times. This isn't a problem. But you have to practice that, right? And you have to do that through meditation, visualization. But you can't get into that if you can't relax.
Yeah.
And it's
This to me seems like a really interesting avenue for a lot of people who have resistance to meditation. It's because like they are so in their monkey mind, right? The thoughts their thoughts are coming at them so hard they can't get into that meditation. It gets in the way. So if you can get into a relaxed mode where your thoughts are calmed, or you've got that space to work on that. So I think this is really interesting on that front too.
Yeah, and a lot of athletes use our products, a lot of other high performers, and anytime I can get on a call with them, I always try to tell them, I'm like, look, don't just think this is gonna fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be the best in the world at what you do, you have to be the best. You have to have the best mind in the world, because one, you have to have good control of your nervous system, but you also have to have the ability to just lock in
Yeah.
and like focus when it counts. And the only way to practice that is through visualization.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not the only way, but you know, like how like they say, you know, you have to practice whatever it is you want to do. So if you want to practice a Game 7 championship game, well, the only way to practice that is to go be in a Game 7 championship game. But how many opportunities you have to do that?
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can visualize a Game 7 championship game. And if you get into that deep state, it can feel very real.
Sure.
And you can do that every single day.
Yeah.
And if you do that every single day, by the time you actually make it to the Game 7 championship game, you're going to be like, I've been here a million times. Like, this is easy.
Yeah.
Versus the guys that choke, they've never practiced that, so they get to the Game 7 and the moment becomes way too big for them and they choke.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's Kobe Bryant. Like, that's what he talked about all the time. He's like visualization, like mental toughness. Like, you know, I tell sales guys, I'm like, if you struggle with like getting nervous closing a deal, well, go visualize yourself closing a deal, or go role play 1,000,000 times until, you know, you got it dialed in.
No, definitely, it is the magic to unlocking performing under stress. And
Yeah.
it's a great thing. All right, so this environment is magical. You guys have this ecosystem here, helping each other, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like, hey, I'm having trouble with this, and you raise your hand, and like teams from all these different groups descend, and you all help each other.
Yeah. This is like the best place ever if you're a startup.
Yeah.
Big open space.
Yeah.
And everyone knows everyone. We all know what we're working on, and just walking around, like, you know, for example, the one kid who does TikTok lives and he's crushing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you do TikTok lives? Just go over there and be like, hey dude, tell me about TikTok lives. And he's like, oh dude, I can show you and like set it up for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. He comes over to me, you know, I'm running ads, so he's like, hey man, I want to run some ads. And I'm like, dude, I'll show you exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
No, whiteboard. Robert is like the most helpful guy ever because he knows a lot of people, but he like truly wants everybody in here to succeed, and he's connecting people and like promoting everybody versus, you know, I've been part of other startup, you know, accelerators or groups, co-working spaces where the guys who run it do nothing.
Yeah.
Never there.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like quiet and
there's a
awkward
magic,
rooms.
there's an energy field here that's about like propping everyone up and helping them, right? And everyone's got to do their own thing, but like it's like, how do we help each other, and how do we, you know, and it raises the bar, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, super fun to be a part of. But yeah, ultimately it's just, you know, we're here to grow companies, and everybody knows that, so we're all in the same, sort of in the same boat. Like, hey, we're all trying to grow and like make money. And it's not awkward to like share financial information because we're all, you know, dealing with the same stuff. Whereas, you know, oftentimes if you don't know someone, you're like, you don't want to talk about the financials of your business because it's like,
Yeah, and it's a lonely, it can be a very lonely thing being an entrepreneur, and it's awesome to have the kind of camaraderie and, you know, open system here that is, you know, it's just conducive to solving problems quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. Look
This
forward
is
to
fun.
monitoring your progress as you go along,
For sure.
and
Thanks
watching
for having
you
me.
explode into a even greater business as it grows.
Just gonna keep the world calm. That's our goal.
Right on.
So.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming.